Okay, this is a explanation of how to wax up a DE hinge. Now, this hinge will allow the distal saddle here. It will allow it to go down. You don't want the hinge to be able to go up. You only want the hinge to go down. So, when you wax the hinge into place, you want to attach it here. But if you'll notice, there's a small opening right in here. You do not want to get any wax in here or here. This is where it allows the mechanics for the hinge. But you do want to add a little bit of wax to the distal of the plastic pattern so that it assures that it's in the proper position here, and it won't allow this bar to come up. You only want the DE hinge to go downward. When I wax up a DE hinge, I always put a little bit of additional wax through here for strength. This is the only connection that you're going to have for this entire saddle. There's a lot of force, there's a lot of downward vertical force going down. So I want to reinforce this area here for some additional strength. Now, if you'll notice, I just put a little bit of additional wax for strength, but you do not want to get in this hole. If you'll notice on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. Just put a little bit of additional wax out here, just for a little bit of additional strength. I'm sorry if I'm moving, it's hard to hold the camera and wax at the same time. But now you see I have a little bit of additional strength in the waxing. Now, no fear of the, don't worry, because I know you're thinking that once this plastic pattern burns out, it's going to stick to this metal. Well, it will not stick to this metal. This is just for mechanical retention. Now we're going to put our meshwork here. Then I'll show the meshwork. Then I'll finish my wax up, and then I'll show you the proper spruing technique for a DE hinge. Before waxing your meshwork, you want to, on the tail of this DE hinge, where the metal part is, you want to go all the way around this tail with wax for some mechanical retention, because it's not going to stick very well to this metal. But you always want to make sure you have this separation between here and here. Do not connect these here, because then your hinge would be stuck. Okay, you must have separation between this wax and this wax. You do not want the metal to flow, because then that will make it one solid piece. Now that we have our meshwork waxed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to thicken this wax up through here, because I'm going to have to sprue here and then take another sprue and go from here to here. So in order for this to flow properly, I'm going to need to thicken this up with wax or some sort of wax pattern. I think I'm just going to flow wax. Now I have the DE hinge completely waxed, and I also have somewhat of a lead because I'm going to sprue here, come up to here. I'm sorry I'm so shaky, I don't have a tripod. I'm going to sprue here and then have another sprue come here to the major connector. So I'm going to finish waxing the rest of the frame, then I'll show you the spruing technique. Okay, I've now waxed my clasp up and finished my wax up. I just wanted to show you this side, how I've connected this. Now I'm ready to sprue, and I'll show you what the spruing technique is next. Okay, the first sprue that I've put on here is I've connected a 8 gauge sprue from the meshwork over to the major connector. That's the biggest issue with this hinge. Do not connect it up in here. Only go from the meshwork to the major connector. Next I'll put sprue here, sprue here. Okay, now I have my first sprue from the meshwork to the major connector. Now I've got my sprue to the meshwork. So it's going to come up through here to the meshwork. Then we have like a small internal sprue, then an 8 gauge sprue coming to the major connector, and the rest as normal. At this point, just invest, burn out, and cast your framework as normal, as usual. And okay, we'll see you after casting. Well, now you want to do all of your rough finishing with your rough wheels and with your stones. Do all that finishing first before you cut and separate this sprue lead here. Do all of your other finishing first, then cut this sprue lead. Because if you cut this sprue lead first, then the pressure from all the finishing will make this weak and make it weak going in these lingual and buckle. And you don't want this joint weak. You just want it to go vertical. You don't want it to go lingual and buckle. So now I'm going to cut this sprue off and sandblast it and electroplate it. I'm going to cut the other end of this sprue off. Very carefully. Get it close again. Now I'm going to start bending this, trying to bend this a little. It won't bend yet. It still won't bend. Still solid. So now I'll electroplate it. After I electroplate it, it should free loose. It should free up. After I sandblast and before I electroplate, I want to get an inverted cone on a high-speed handpiece. And I want to very carefully just open this up right there, just a little bit. You see where this opening is here, right there? I'm just barely going to touch right there, and then electroplate, and it should free it up. Okay, now I've finished electroplating. I don't know if you can see, got that small you can see the hole through here. Now you just start prying on it. Here we go. This is the additional wax that we put right there. That helps for a stop. So now we need to get the micro blaster, pencil blaster like Crown and Bridge, with aluminum oxide, and blast right in here and right in here one last time, then rubber wheel and high shine. But as you can see, now it does not go up, it only goes down. You just continue to work it back and forth until it goes smoothly up and down, very smooth. But see, it only goes down. It doesn't go up. So I'm going to get the pencil blaster, blast inside of here. There's still a little bit of oxidation right in there. I'm going to blast that out and blast this out a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, I stuck it back in the electroplater for about 2 additional minutes. Now if you can see how easy it goes down? Watch. Very easy. It does not go this way. It will not go this way. Nothing. This was old partial that this is the old partial that I'm trying to duplicate, but watch. This is no good. You see how it moves? It should only move up and down. Yeah, not lingual buckle. This is bad. And see this one? Nothing. Just up and down. So now all we do is rubber wheel and high shine it, and it's ready to go. Okay, the case is done. I've got it rubber wheeled and high shined. If you'll look, just doesn't move this way, only vertically. Okay, the case is finished and on the model, and if you'll notice, when I go to pull up here, well, this doesn't move up vertically. The whole case right there is, but it does not move up vertically. It just moves down. Only moves down, and tissue stops there. And it's working good. So there you go, guys. And that's how you make a DE hinge. I've done several of these over the years that actually work really well.